Which one should you choose? Which one is the better phone? The iPhone X or the Pixel 2 XL? One of them is a poorly designed collection of compromises that doesn't deserve the very hefty price that it carries. The other one is, well, let's talk. Hey folks, my name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL, and this is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech, so honest it hurts. I'm sorry if it hurts you, but that's just the way it is. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing for more tech-like content. And maybe if you like this video, then you could like this video, and that would be great. And commercial over. I've been using the iPhone X here since launch day, and I picked up the Pixel 2 XL a couple of weeks ago. I've had ample time with both now to get to know them, warts and all. And there are warts on both of them. They are both flagship phones by two of the biggest companies out there. Both companies are the makers of the operating systems that run the phones. So we should expect them to run well. And for the most part, they do, aside from some glitches here and there. They don't have any special features like the Note 8 with its S Pen or the LG V30 and its quad DAC and headphone jack. I don't know if it's a special feature. These guys are more the every person, all-purpose phone that would meet the needs of most users. They're competing directly with one another. On paper, they seem to do that. First, let's talk about a few things that are similar about these two phones. They both have OLED screens of a comparable size. In the right conditions, they both look great. But one looks great more often and under more conditions than the other. The biggest difference between them is Apple's screen has, whether you care about the notch or not, has been universally lauded as one of the best screens available on a phone this year, while Google's screen has a noticeable blue shift to it that really gets frustrating. They also came out of the box with some really muted colors that people didn't like, and they've sort of upgraded that, but the Pixel 2 XL screen is good, but with these undeniable flaws out of the gate, Apple is clearly kind of ahead of the game when it comes to the two. Yes, there are people who hate the notch, as if Apple came up and bit a chunk out of their rear end instead of took a chunk out of the screen. I don't really care. They both have voice-activated assistants. You could say, "Hey Siri," and nothing happens. Or, "Okay Google." Oh, that worked. Google Assistant is better than Siri. So point to the Google. They also both have stereo speakers. Now these are speakers that are just like the same. And then there's a bottom-firing speaker and the earpiece is a speaker on the iPhone. But they both sound pretty good. I personally don't care about the sound of the speakers on a phone. If the sound is better than most phones, then fine. I mean, if you're listening to music on your phone speakers, you got other problems besides whether they're stereo or not. They both have probably the best cameras available on the market today. And here's the thing about these cameras. There are aspects that are better on each. The front-facing portrait mode, blah, 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 for the Pixel 2 XL is better than the portrait mode on the iPhone. But the iPhone, it's software. It could get better, whatever. If you had the iPhone and you didn't have the Pixel, you would be really happy with the pictures that you get out of this. You'd be really happy with the 4K 60 frames per second video that you get out of this. That's a unique feature for the iPhone. I mean, a picture, it's usually what's in the picture that matters more than what took the picture, isn't it? Isn't that how it works? They both have no headphone jack. No headphone jack. They both offer wireless solutions. AirPods, Pixel Buds, and the AirPods are pretty good. They're very convenient. They work incredibly well. I have not had a chance to yet try the Pixel Buds, but the reviews that I've seen, or at least the headlines of the reviews that I've seen, have been less than complimentary of the Pixel Buds. Apple also has the added advantage of the fact that they include wired headphones in the box with their phone, as well as a dongle. Now, Google, they give us a dongle. They don't give us any headphones in the box. Make of that what you will, but it's part of the pattern that I'm seeing with what Google's doing here. Cost cutting and trying to save a few bucks at the expense of the consumer. So what's different about these phones? I mean, operating systems, obviously. iOS 11.2 now versus Android Oreo. iOS 11 has been glitchier than some iOS updates, but it'll get better. And Android Oreo has been generally pretty good from everything that I've heard. And I really enjoy using them both for different reasons. Now, one place where the hardware differs is the storage capacities. 64 to 128 gigabytes here, and 64 and 256 gigabytes here with the iPhone. Now, yes, some of you are saying, well, Google has unlimited cloud storage. But the 128 gigabyte model of this costs $950. So anyone who complains about the iPhone X's price and doesn't also recognize that Google's incredibly expensive, and if they offered 256, it would be even more, you're just not being honest. They're both very expensive phones. The designs, upscale, utilitarian. Honestly, Apple's device feels like it cost a lot to make. It almost feels like a piece of jewelry in your hand. I mean, it's just so well put together. Yes, it's prone to scratches. It's got glass on both sides. But have you never bought anything that was extremely well made and also fragile? The fact that the iPhone X can scratch does not have anything to do with its build quality or the materials used. That's what's called a false dichotomy. Now, its fragility has nothing to do with its quality. Meanwhile, the 2XL, it's got a nice sort of much more utilitarian design. I like the feel of this plastic aluminum coated thing here. It feels more solid. It feels like it's going to take more punishment day to day. The Pixel 2's design, however, just looks more rudimentary to me. I mean, this has an elegance to it that I don't see here. And maybe that's all in the eye of the beholder, but I'm the one beholding, and that's my opinion. Face ID works better than I ever expected it to, and I've been enjoying using it, and it's actually made it so that a lot of things are much easier, like unlocking apps that need passcodes and stuff with your face, not having to type in anything or go to a password manager or anything like that. That's the real value of Face ID to me. Fingerprint stuff with the Google, it's a fingerprint reader. It works okay. Where do we make our comparisons to decide between these two phones? With these two phones, I think you have to look at the builds. And unfortunately, the mistakes that Google made apparently to cut costs. The iPhone's design is elegant, with glass and stainless steel, gesture-based OS that is both a step toward the future of their devices, but also changing how we interact with them. Android Oreo is similarly forward-looking, clean, and mature, but unfortunately, Google's second attempt at a flagship handset is in some ways better than the previous generation, which was kind of a janky mishmash of a lot of different phones, and in some ways not so much. Like I said, I like the feel of the phone, but it's in the details where Google's offering falls down. While a lot of what separates these two phones could be overcome and may actually be preferred by individual users, some people, every phone has a few quirks that take getting used to. But this screen issue with the Pixel 2 XL, I don't think that's an issue I can overcome. And I don't think I should have to for $850. In a market where no one else has that problem, why should Google get away with it? Yes, OLED screens have this blue shift, but honestly, I had never really seen it until I picked up the 2XL. In fact, I took it around and I compared it to the iPhone, and the iPhone didn't shift like that. Neither did any of the Samsung phones. The Pixel 2 XL, even after updates, still looks terrible off-axis. It says a lot about what Google needs to learn about making hardware. They are a software company, very new to making hardware, and in this area, it shows. It seems to me like they decided to use subpar panels in this phone in an effort to save money. Say what you want about Apple, but they pretty much never blunder like Google has with this phone. Apple has been doing this for a long time, and while they are not perfect, even with the iPhone X, anyone who tries to dispute their track record of making incredibly well-designed and well-built machines is just not being honest with themselves. Apple has always been at the top of their game using the best quality parts all the time. Face ID was a huge risk for them, and they pulled it off better than I could have imagined. By comparison, putting a crappy subpar screen on an $850, $950 phone is like criminal negligence by comparison. When comparing these two phones against one another, the iPhone X, with all the points tallied, is just an all-around better piece of technology. It's the culmination of 10 years of defining and refining what it means to be a smartphone, what it means to be an iPhone. The Google Pixel 2 XL is a poorly designed collection of compromises that doesn't deserve the hefty price tag and almost insults its buyers. Android Oreo is a great operating system and I enjoy using it, but when the mothership offers compromised pieces of crap like the 2 XL, I can't buy in. Google has a ways to go before they offer a complete package in the way that Apple does. The iPhone X is just better. Deal with it. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Welcome to all those folks who are new. I'm glad you're here. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you. My name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest, it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.